is a fully built 2JZ from Drift HQ. It's a 3-liter, and we are putting this into one of these. There's 3 Corvettes in the room right now. So some things that you guys are going to be able to look forward to on this channel going forward is this orange car is going to become a race car. 2JZ Corvette is going to become the PRI / possibly SEMA show competition car, where we're really going to go all out on TIG welding, showcasing, and doing everything to a maximum extent of our shop's capabilities. Utilizing companies like Haltech, and now that my brother and Patrick are on board, you guys are going to meet them soon. Very key players to this company's future. We're going to be able to showcase everything that we can do by putting a 2JZ into a Corvette and running this car in competition, not just doing this for a swap show. So this is going to be making 900 horsepower. We're still going to be using some nitrous outlet stuff with a little shot down low of nitrous. We're still going to be running the other car that was in Europe. That's coming back. That will be getting a refresh and then used in competition as well. While we're building customer cars as well. James Dunn, you guys know him, he bought my S14. We're building his car into a pro-spec legal competition car as well. Kyle's currently working on that, installing a steering column at the moment. And we are really fully on a Corvette train here. Not on purpose either. We are developing and making parts for lots of other cars. It just so happens that when you strip these babies down, look at the size of this thing. It's so small. You can't believe that they're long, big cars when you cut them down to how actually small they are. And they're just so perfect for building into race cars. Let's get a closer look at some of the goodies on this engine.
All right, Chris here with Drift HQ, and we are currently building Josiah's engine. We are getting everything assembled for him to get ready for his next season of racing. We have everything done up in this motor. We have CP pistons, Carrillo rods, billet mains, L19 hardware, ARP studs all around. We're gonna get ready to assemble this thing and then ship it up for him. And she's off. Enjoy, Josiah. Don't break it.
So going over a couple of the features, we are utilizing the stock water pump. We're not married to this concept. I've never run a stock pump on any of my engines. I know that a lot of guys run them in conjunction with an electric water pump. So this is basically going off of the recommendations of Duarte, Adam. We've got our Drift HQ billet components on here for our water in and out on both sides. That can be replaced with an entire water pump adapter if you wanted to get rid of the water pump. But the water pump also acts as a nice idler belt pulley so that you can route your belts similar to how they are on with factory setups. All in all, you don't have to run it, but we have it for now. We are definitely able to change it if we need to. Everything else to go over, we're running a rear wet sump on this. Again, lots of guys are doing this. Drifting just doesn't produce the G-forces really necessary for a dry sump system. Obviously, in the pro setting, you have a mixed bag of dry sump guys and none. I've been on the dry sump for 4 or 5 years. But like I was saying, versus racing, the G's just aren't really there. As long as you have a rear sump pan, you're kind of laughing. And obviously, we're going to be data logging and monitoring oil. We can add an AccuSump if necessary. The tried and true method to keep everything simple is a rear wet sump pan. And that is kind of the key to these next builds. Keeping it really simple, collecting data where we can get it using all the Haltech components, and then just refining what works and going forward with that only. Lots of things that don't work, but it's important to try. We're actually going back to the diff-mounted brake setup that I had, just with a little bit more ingenuity and a little bit of work with Willwood. We're going to be able to get a slightly better package setup for that. So we are going to go back to that. That's going to be really interesting. All in all, this is going to be an absolute showstopper of a car that we are going to spend the year making perfect. The reason why I wanted to go with a 2J is because I've been NALS for a really long time, and the story behind the reason of that is basically when I started doing this, I had absolutely no money years ago. Getting into a 5.3 LS with a Collins adapter kit and a CDO 9 transmission, you could get an LS for 500 bucks. You could patch the truck harness up enough on your own to get it to run, which is basically all the pink wires, send them to power, the truck engine will run. We even shaved the truck intake, and I'm not going to go on forever about that, but going to a 2JZ gets us into just another world of things about motorsports that I don't necessarily know well enough, and I want to get to know that. So at least half of the grid is 2J, and I would say in the US you could go with half as LS, and then there's the scatter plot of guys running different setups. In Europe, 90% of the guys are 2J. Let's go 80%. Then the other 15% to 17% are probably just BMW engines, N54, N55, and some other variations. And then one guy, other than me, was on an LS. So LSs over there are not well supported. Anytime I had an issue, they say you have 8 problems and it's all of your cylinders, basically. Everyone runs a 2J. They all work really well. When you talk to guys like James Dean, the Shanahans, they just produce ridiculous power. The heat management and everything is just really well. This engine is literally bulletproof. We've proven that on the 2J wagon. That engine is 7 years untouched. We're pulling it now just to give it a refresh on the 2JZ wagon that Mike and I own. And I absolutely love the sound of it. All in all, it's just different. I wanted to go supercharger on the LS. I could have gone turbo on the LS. You know, there's just something about it that I want to change and be different all the time. Not that this is different, but putting it in a Corvette is different. Also, utilizing the benefits of our angle kit and where it positions the rack allows us to put one of these in a Corvette as if it was designed to go there. The Corvette has a very long front end. This is a very long engine. With the rack moved, it basically fits as if it's at home with the rear sump pan. This sits right inside of the cradle, just like the stock LS pan fits in the cradle. Literally seems like it's designed, other than cutting a little bit of the cowl to fit the valve cover. All in all, it's gonna look great, fit great, sound great. It's gonna make some people mad, but you know, controversy is sometimes, actually almost all the time, a good thing online. And it's gonna be fun. Still gonna be extremely competitive, if not more competitive, because what you really are looking for is reliability at the end of the day. Plus power control with the 2JZ, not needing to run maximum output at any given time with boost controlling is a very nice thing. Whereas with an NA V8, you have to run super high compression. It's wearing everything out very quickly all the time, and there's no turning it down. If you need the power out of an NA setup, you have to add nitrous and run all that compression, and everything kind of takes a beating. Whereas with this, turn the boost down, make some less power. If you want to run a different tire class, if you want to put the car somewhere else, sometimes too much power is actually a thing, and you want to be able to control that power band better. So you will be able to do that better with a 2J, and the support, especially when racing in Europe, is all there. Everyone is able to help you with spares, parts. It's a more understood engine over there. Those are all the reasons, and it's going to be fun. So that's the QuickTime bell housing. Yeah. That's the stock intake manifold. This is to utilize the stock intake on these heads. Now, I didn't mention, but we do have a phase turbo manifold with EGT ports built in. You've seen pictures of those to go on this with a full turbo smart package. It is going to absolutely sing to the moon with this stuff. And the phase manifold is really interesting because Dom, who owns Phase, runs a dyno as well. He just got another new dyno. He was able to see direct replacement manifold power ranges and power changes, and we'll have to show you when we go there, but there is like 70 horsepower, 40 foot-pounds of torque gains, just exact same setup swapping to this manifold. So we'll highlight that when we start putting things together. But it is a really nice piece. Proudly Canadian made, so that's also cool. And I saw all of his runner jigs and everything. He is very legit. So proud to say that I'll be running that as well with this setup.